thank you so much for coming and helping me celebrate the birth of my baby. So I'm very happy you're here today, and I'm very happy that I'm here today. You know, about a year and a half ago, I was just completing chemo and radiation, and I was feeling pretty toasted. And my doctor basically told me that I was toast. Yet, here I am, the toast of the town. For the last 3 years, I've been writing newsletters, and I want to thank most of you here for reading my newsletters. It just is such an honor for me. And I've actually written 80 of them, over 80. And I've compiled 60 of them, and I pruned and I perfected them into a book. And the title of the book is something I think a lot of you can relate to. It's, oh no, not another growth opportunity. What I've noticed as I was rereading the newsletters is that there's general themes running through them, several themes, and I want to tell you about 5 of them today. First and foremost is to feel your feelings fully. Because when I try to rise above my feelings, that just positions me better for them to bite me in the butt. And when I try to sit on my feelings, it's very much like when I accidentally sit on my felines. It's not great. It hurts. So what I've learned to do instead is to move towards my feelings and to make friends with them. And I've developed a compassionate witness that talks to my feelings like they're children. And when I was doing my chemo radiation, I had to go to the hospital and get a blood test every week. And I do not like needles. And I was sitting in the waiting room one day, and I heard a little girl about 5 years old screaming in the next room. They were trying to draw her blood. And she was saying, "No, no!" And I actually heard them running and chasing her. she didn't want any part of that whole thing. And I could totally relate to that. And I wanted to tell them, don't arm wrestle with her fear. You know, move toward her fear. Let her feel her fear. But somehow, eventually, they were able to draw her blood. And when she came out through the waiting room, I wanted to give this little girl a big hug. But instead, I gave my own inner little girl a big hug. And I said, "I know this is scary. I know you don't like needles. This is hard. It's okay to feel scared. Just let yourself feel that." And I found that feelings are like children. When you fully feel them and hear them, they just want to be heard and held, then they can relax a little bit and move on. It's like energy in motion is emotion. And there's this wonderful acronym for fear, which is feel everything and recover. There's another acronym that's F everything and run! Now that leads me to the second recurring theme I want to talk about, which is, have you ever noticed that our spirit and our ego have 2 very different agendas? No. Like, my ego wants to avoid suffering at any cost, and my spirit wants to learn and grow at any cost. And I've been learning and growing, and I can honestly say that this cancer experience has been a blessing in many ways. At least my spirit feels that way. My ego is none too happy with it most of the time. So I want to read you a little something I wrote in the book about that. When challenges befall me, my ego wails in a Mr. Bill whine. Oh no! learning opportunity. But my spirit says, oh yeah, another opportunity to grow. Bring it on. And my ego moans, we are in deep doo-doo. Spirit exalts, rich compost. And ego scolds, now we've gone and done it. Our fear has drawn cancer to us. And Spirit exclaims, cool, cancer. Now we can come face to face with our worst fear, feel it fully, and make friends with it. My spirit's a real trooper. And growth wants to happen one way or another. It could be a growth in my body, or it could be personal growth in my life. And I opt for personal growth in my life. Maybe I'll no longer need those old cancerous growths anymore. So the next theme is about following your bliss. It's doing what you love to do. It's doing that thing that you're excited to get out of bed in the morning and do. The Japanese have a word for this, and the word is ikigai. Ikigai. Now, one of my favorite ikigais is my anything but ikigai, my husband Tom. Our relationship is something I'm excited to get out of bed in the morning, or get back in. And another deep passion of mine is writing. I always said I would write someday, but I was postponing it for some reason. Well, cancer kicked my someday into right now, as in W-R-I-T-E, right now. And I am writing now. And I'm so happy to be doing that soul work. And I'm so happy that you're reading what I'm writing. I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Feel it fully, Jan. And my soul is saying, right on. And here's what I wrote in my very first newsletter almost 3 years ago. I really like crying because it releases stress.
Amen.
Feel fully. When I first found out I had uterine cancer just before my 60th birthday, having something growing in my uterus at the time of such an important birthday made me wonder, what wants to be born into my life? I realized that I'd been stagnating. I'd been doing the same work for 27 years and I was no longer inspired by it. I've always wanted to do inspirational writing. That was my dream. Cancer shook me awake and compelled me to take a risk and live my dream. Now the beauty part of it, when we live our dream, is it can actually be healing. There's this wonderful story of Phoebe Snetsinger. Isn't that a great name? And she was told she had terminal cancer and get her affairs in order. But instead, she took some inheritance money and decided to travel the world doing what she loved most, which was spotting birds. So, 20 years later, Phoebe has a world record for spotting the most bird species ever. And that goes to show you that when we do what we love, that it can actually heal us. Next theme that I'd like to talk about is the power of suggestion and the effect it has on our body and our life. Deepak Chopra said, our cells are constantly eavesdropping on our thoughts and being changed by them. There's a great example in the book of a man in the 1950s that we'll call Mr. Wright. And he had terminal cancer. He was in the hospital, very sick. He had tumors the size of oranges. But his doctors decided to try this experimental drug called Cree-Biozen. And what happened was amazing. His tumors shrunk in half within a couple days, and after 10 days they were almost completely gone. But then a report came out that said Cree-Biozen was a failure, and his tumors grew back. But his doctors were smart. They decided to tell him, oh, that report was wrong, that at a higher dose it really does work. So they gave him a placebo. And guess what happened? Yeah, his tumors went away and he was restored to health. Until, ... the AMA issued a pronouncement that the drug was a complete failure. And you know what happened to Mr. Wright after that. He died of his disease. So the moral of that story is, be very careful what you think. I do a practice in the morning where I imagine the day ahead and I verbally affirm how I want my day to go. When I was finished with my chemo and radiation, I was feeling sick and uncomfortable in my body. I had pain. And every morning I would affirm, today I feel comfortable in my body. Today I have increased energy. Today I'm pain-free. And within a short period of time, I was pain-free. It was like magic. It's like Dumbledore said to Harry Potter, words are our most inexhaustible source of magic. I love that. So that there are many other themes, but the final one I want to tell you about is be here now. When I'm scared, when I worry about what might happen, I say these words to myself. Present moment, only moment. I take deep breaths. And I also say to myself, I'm all right now. And right now is all there is. And that's true for all of you too. You're all right now. Right? You're here, you're alive, and that's a good thing. Now, another time when I was worried about something, these words came to me. There's nothing I have to do today. There's nothing I have to do or say. Just be in the now all the way. That's all I have to do today. Well, my songwriter friend Nickel over here said, let's turn that into a song. And we did, and we call it the Now Song. And we put it to the tune of the ants go marching one by one. And I would like you all to join me now singing this song. I know some of you know it already. Nothing I have to do today, hurrah, hurrah. There's nothing I have to do today, hurrah, hurrah. Just be in the now all the way, that's all I have to do today. Breathe in, breathe out, sing and dance and play.